It's time for breaking bread with Papa. Hey, don't you know? Hey, it's sourdough. Hey, it's time for breaking bread with Papa. Hey, don't you know? Hey, it's also a show.
Hey, everybody, welcome to another edition of Breaking Bread with Tom Papa. I'm Tom Papa. I'm so excited to be with you today on this glorious, glorious day. We've got a great show for you today. Have a wonderful conversation with the great David Cross. He's got a new special out on his website, and he came to the studio. We sat down, we broke bread. An amazing, amazing time, and I can't wait to share it with you. You are going to be delighted. And I've got another little story, but first, I would like to thank the people at BetterHelp for sponsoring our show today. Look, everybody needs a little help once in a while. We've all got problems. We've all got things we need to talk about. Sometimes the people in our life aren't enough. Maybe we don't want to burden them with our problems, and it's a very difficult time, and everybody's got stuff on their minds and stuff to work through, and the good people at BetterHelp give you a little portal into some sanity, into some relief. I really like these people. A big shout out to BetterHelp. They support your mental health goals every step of the way, and listeners right now get 10% off your first month by visiting our sponsor at betterhelp.com/papa. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/papa for 10% off your first month. They give you access to counselors and therapists. Good on them. Good on you. Also, I'd like to thank the good people at Helix Sleep. Oh, a big shout out to Helix Sleep. Take their 2-minute sleep quiz, and they'll match you to a mattress that will give you the best sleep of your life. I know this because I sleep on one myself. I know some of you are sleeping on a saggy old mattress at night, and you deserve better than that. Your life will improve if you get better sleep, so upgrade yourself today. Find the perfect mattress at helixsleep.com/papa. Oh, we have a good show for you today. This is so exciting. I sat down with David Cross. It really is there are some times when I get to sit down with comedians who I knew from the early days, who were kind of the juniors and seniors when I showed up as a freshman. And David Cross was definitely one of those. He wasn't just a junior going into senior year. He was a cool junior going into senior year. And he was really part of the great resurgence, or not resurgence, emergence of the alt comedy scene. And they just broke out from the clubs and were just based on creativity, just started a new way. Mark Maron, Janine Garofalo, of course, and Bob Odenkirk. And they just were cooler than cool. So to be able to sit down with David all these years later and talk with him about his new special was really, really a treat. It was meaningful for me, and I never got to actually sit and talk to him and ask him questions, and because you don't do that when you see a senior in the lunchroom. You just kind of look and talk to your friends and you eyeball them. You don't go up and ask them questions. And I know this sounds so silly. We're all grown-ups at this point. But comedians really aren't really grown-ups. And you have it in your jobs, I'm sure. We never leave high school. We never really leave high school. So I was lucky enough to see him last week. We sat down. He came into the studio. We sat at the table. I gave him some bread. And he told me all about his life and what he's been doing. His special is called I'm from the Future, and it's available February 12th on officialdavidcross.com. And it's really, really strong. This is the latest in a series of specials from David. They're all thought-provoking. They're all hilarious. And that's the great combo that David Cross gives you. It's not only... he'll dip into politics, he'll dip into social issues, but it's just thought-provoking is really the best way to phrase it. And we talk about that. We talk about people calling him a political comedian and why he kind of pushes back on that a little bit. And I wish I, in the moment, could have said it, but I'll say it now. It's really just thought-provoking. He will take things that are uncomfortable and things that people are trying to figure out in the moment, in the culture, and he dissects them and makes sense of them and makes them funny. And this special is no exception. You're really going to love it. Again, it's called I'm From the Future. It's available February 12th on officialdavidcross.com. And I also learned some other things about David. He loves to cook. He lives in New York. He's a family man now. He's got a beautiful daughter. And it was really great. It just a well-rounded day with the great David Cross. And then he took my bread because he was traveling. And I was like, I don't know what you're going to do with the bread. I know you're in a hotel room. You're probably, I can't tell you how to eat it or what to do. You know, Jim Gaffigan, I gave it to him, and he flew back to New York with the bread. And then if you saw on Jim's social media, his kids got to eat it. It was a beautiful moment. I actually saw Jim in the airport. We didn't even realize we were on the same flight together. And I came down, and the drivers were holding Gaffigan, and the other driver was holding Papa. And then Jim comes rolling up with his backpack, and he had the bread in the backpack. But that's how Jim Gaffigan rolls. Jim's not going to give away food. David, I told him, like, you could just pass it on to your friends, bring it to dinner, whatever you're going to do. He actually went on James Corden on the Late Late Show on the CBS, and he walks out with my bread, which was so perfect. It was so great. My bread basically had a late night appearance on the Late Late Show. He brought out my bread. James, of course, is the perfect guy to do a bit about bread in front of because he loves bread. And he was very funny in how, like, he wanted the bread but didn't want to get. I'm not going to go into the little comedic parts of it, but Reggie Watts was involved, James Corden was involved, and my little bag of bread was involved. And there was a very funny bit. You should look it up on YouTube. I posted it on my Instagram as well. I think you could probably still see it. I think it's in the feed on Instagram. But it was a really triumphant moment for us here at Breaking Bread, having our little bread make a late night appearance. So a big thank you to David Cross. And you're going to really enjoy this interview, I know, and you're going to even more. You're going to enjoy his new special, I'm From the Future, again, available February 12th on officialdavidcross.com. So let's get right to it. Enjoy David Cross. I baked you bread.
Thank you.
I baked this bread for you. I'll show it to you. You do it. It's your hands.
I also like the little illustration there.
Yeah, that's my little...
Is that you, or did you go down to the pier and get a caricaturist to do that? Oh, Tom. Wow.
Yeah. Now, I don't know because
Holy moly.
I assume you're on the road right now, so I don't know.
Great.
Yeah.
Well, unfortunately, yeah. Oh, man, that looks tremendous.
I hope you like it. Yeah. It's
I mean, it would be... I'm not going to eat this all. I can't. I'm just here for 36 hours.
And you're going back home?
Yeah, I'm doing stuff today and tomorrow, and then I go home. I mean, if the snowstorm lets me, but
right. Well, if it does, Gaffigan was on, and I saw him at JFK. We were on the same flight and didn't know it.
Yeah.
And we got off the plane. He said he took the bread out of his backpack and he brought it home to his family. So this will be for a couple days.
Fuck it. I can put this in my luggage.
All
Absolutely.
Right. Are you sure?
Yeah.
Do whatever.
No. Here's the thing.
Okay.
I'm gonna have to, because I'm not gonna be back at my hotel until like 10 o'clock tonight. I have a full day of running around. Then I'm gonna meet some friends for dinner. But it smells and looks delicious.
All right. Well, you do your best. If you pass it to a friend, whatever.
Thank you very, very much.
But I made it for you, and I hope you enjoy it.
Want to sign the bread?
I'll sign the bread. And then I'm not sure if you're hungry because we're doing this kind of early. I don't know if you eat donuts.
I don't, but thank you.
Are you vegan?
No.
You just don't eat gross things.
I just.
You're not an animal?
I'll tell you what. I've been drinking a lot, and I put on like.
Oh yeah.
I have a pretty slight frame, and I'm a good 5 pounds heavier than I should be, which is already 5 pounds heavier than it should be. So, like, I'm really feeling it. I don't think
me too.
weighed this much since, when I'd go to London, and when I was like doing shows and pre-production on these shows before I actively started to going, okay, I need to like just going to pubs every night, and I would put
Really?
on fucking 12 pounds just on my frame. I mean,
It's a lot.
I feel it.
I know.
It's not
I'm
good.
the heaviest I've ever been.
Yeah.
And I'm scared because it feels like it's just a new plateau. Like my fattest was 10 pounds less than I am, like for years, and then it went up 5, and now it's up another 5.
Do you think it's getting older in metabolism and stuff?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, I could work my ass off and starve myself for a month and drop it, and then have like one night of good wine and cheese and gain half of it back.
I've been drinking so much though.
What do you like to drink?
Alcohol. I'll have a couple sips of coconut water in the morning, but mostly alcohol.
Are you wine? Are you beer?
Both really.
Yeah.
There's things in where I live in New York. I'm in Brooklyn, and there's a great legit Irish pub, and everybody who opened it and works there is they come over and off the boat, and they do proper Guinness with nitrous and instead of CO2, and
it's the best. That is
so
heaven.
good. It's so different, and the difference is huge, and it's just this warm, and they have little Irish music on Monday nights, just like 4 people who sit at a table, and just like if you've ever gone to Ireland and popped into a pub, and then you're sitting there, and then before you know it, like a couple people show up, and then they're playing music, and it's nobody introduces it. It's not like a band; it just happens.
It's heaven. Heaven.
And so I've been there a lot.
Wow.
And then also the between. I'm going to go all the way back to the World Series, and I just drinking, watching every game, and then football, then the playoffs.
Yep.
Going to the bars and hang out with my friends, and then even on my off time, I'm having half a bottle of wine, and it's also about the shit that I eat when I drink. So if I don't drink that much, I eat. I don't eat crap, but once I'm like 4 or 5 beers deep, or I'm on my 3rd glass of wine, it's like, where's that dip? I'll make dip, mayonnaise, cream cheese, oil, butter.
I'm making dip.
What can I put in the dip? Sour cream and onion potato chips.
It's really true.
Chips that have dip already, I'm gonna make more dip.
I'm going to dip the sour cream and cheddar chip into the sour cream and cheddar dip.
You know what this needs? Bacon. So if I just get very irresponsible at
it's really true. It's true. Like the thing that keeps me straight is if I have a show that night, I usually won't drink.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
Right.
If I'm working, that's the big difference. If I'm, and I haven't worked on, if I'm doing a TV show or a movie, I don't drink. I'll have a glass of wine maybe at home as I'm like learning my lines for the next day and stuff. But I'm in much better shape. And then when I eat, I eat light and I eat healthy. I have oatmeal in the morning and salad. I just take much, much better care of myself because I have to.
Yeah.
And, I haven't worked like that. And also when I'm doing stand-up, when I'm in New York, all the stand-up that I was doing that resulted in that special, with maybe 3 exceptions, they're all shows I'm doing in Brooklyn, and I ride my bike. Either walk or ride my bike. Mostly just ride my bike, whether I'm going to Bushwick or Gowanus or Park Slope. They're all accessible.
So great.
So I'm getting plenty of exercise, and I have, like you said, I don't really drink until I'm kind of getting done with the set, and then I'll have a few beers, and I do Q&A and talk to people, and that's it. Bike home.
That's the thing.
Go to bed.
It's the work really. It's amazing. Like this, like you were saying, like you gain a little weight and you feel a little heavy. All it would take was getting a roll.
Yeah.
And your brain just clicks in, and you'll lose it. You definitely will lose it.
I have to. Like as I was saying before, when I was in London, where I'd always put on more weight, I'd walk everywhere, but I and also I wouldn't eat. I would just be eating curry takeaway and fish and chips, and I mean just all the shit I love, and
it's also good. It's also great.
Good. and then just getting those pints, and I'm having way more than I normally would.
Yeah.
And then I'm drunk. I'm going back home because I don't have to. We're writing,
right?
You know, and I don't have to be in the office till 10. And and then I grab 3 bags of crisps and a bunch of fucking Indian snack crunchy things and just all garbage.
It's so fun.
But with a big smile. But as I'm,
exactly.
I'm gaining weight.
Yeah, and then you dial it back in.
Yeah.
But yeah, if I'm not working, if I don't have a spot, and then I'm gonna make dinner for everybody at home, I'll start with that glass of wine, and that's just immediately. Now I'm eating as I'm going.
That's
I'm like
good,
chopping
though,
up cheese and pepperoni, and
that's the best, right?
The best.
Oh man,
the best.
I've really grown in my my cooking vocabulary has grown, and I'm a big like stew soup guy, but I'll make a shit ton and then freeze half of it.
That's
and I
great.
just made birria, which
what's birria?
Birria is a Mexican. It's huge in New York now. I don't know if it's.
Oh yeah.
It's from. I want to say. I'm probably butchering this, but Jacinta. Is that a Jacin? It's a part of Mexico.
Right.
I'm probably saying it wrong. Jacinta.
Jacinta.
I don't know, and I might even be dropping some letters from there. Yeah. But there was like 4 or 5 months ago this big birria explosion happened in New York, and it's the fucking best. I mean, it's usually goat or lamb, but they also have like beef, like short rib or chuck or whatever. And it's this long simmered, slow. You sear the meat first. And then you get these 3 different chilies, and you roast, de-seed them and stem them, and roast them up in a pan, and then you roast tomatoes and onion and garlic in that same pan, and then you're putting all this stuff in, and you put it in a blender, and you liquefy it with some beef broth, and then everything's cooking in the same kind of thing. And then you take the stew meat and put it in, and then I put it in the crock pot for like 8 hours, and it's ridiculous.
Oh my God.
It's so rich, and it's amazing. It's my wife's new favorite thing. But
how spicy is it?
That's up to you. Because of my daughter, she doesn't like spice. I only put 1 of the spicy chilies. If I was doing it, I'd put in like 3, 4, kick up the heat. But you can always add a little hot sauce in there. But
that sounds amazing.
It's so good. But I was driving from the airport in a taxi last night, and as we were coming up to the hotel, there was I saw a red taco. If you see red tacos, I think that's what it is, because you take the tortilla and you dip it and you coat it in the birria consomme, and you toast it. You put them on the grill like that, and then you put the cheese in the birria, and then you fold it, and then you dip that into the consomme as well. But
so good.
But I'm gonna do homemade as part of my new diet plan. Homemade clam chowder is gonna be the next thing.
Ooh, yeah, the pounds will go right off.
So that's the next thing I'm gonna make.
Oh, you're in the throes of winter. That's New York thick soup stews.
But I've also got all this stuff frozen, so I make big chilies.
That's great.
Big pots of chili, and freeze half of it.
So smart.
Pull it out.
I have to say, it was. First of all, I'm so happy to sit down with you. We had a little bit on my radio show on Sirius with Fortune.
Yep.
And it's just so cool. I have to say.
But we couldn't see each other. This is much nicer.
Much nicer.
Yeah.
And it really does mean a lot, because you were part of the cool kids in New York when I was starting out, and it was very intimidating group of like really artistic people that were going and doing their thing, and it really does mean a lot to like sit down with you and actually it's one of the joys of comedy, I think, is that if you go the distance. All these people that you knew, like, you know, the Attels or the Saggets or that you all end up sitting at the table at some point together.
Yeah,
it's so meaningful.
I was just saying this. I was doing somebody else's, doing an interview or whatever, but it was somebody who wasn't that versed in stand-up. But it was, saying how supportive the stand-up community is, and it doesn't have the weird backstabbing ego shit that, I mean, there is to some degree, but not to the extent like any of those other parts of the arts have.
Right.
And stand-up, maybe because it's so hard and it can be so lonely, is, it's just, and also what we're doing by definition is fun,
right?
Or funny, and
yeah,
and it's late night, and it's raucous, and it's it is a supportive community, and I think the most in the arts, I would say, and so that's good to hear.
Yeah, it was really.
I hope I was nice to you.
Yeah, yeah, you were. We didn't really cross paths all that often because I was going through the clubs more than the alt rooms,
and all that stuff. Yeah,
and so I would just do it a little bit and then get freaked out and run back to the cellar. There's nobody on the planet like you, so why would you buy a generic mattress built for everyone else? Here's the cool thing about Helix. Helix gives you this 2-minute sleep quiz. I took it. I did it. It gives you all of these questions. How do you sleep? Are you on your back? Are you on your side? Do you sleep alone? Do you sleep with your wife who snores and gets up 25 times a night? And then they design a mattress for you. I was probably on my mattress for, 10 years. You don't change your mattress out that often. I don't know why, but we really just don't do it. You get comfortable, and it seems like a big deal. And then you go to a creepy mattress store, and you lay down, and the whole thing's uncomfortable. Finally, somebody figured out a way not only to give you the perfect mattress, but also a good experience in how you get the mattress. You go online at helixsleep.com, you take their 2-minute quiz, and then they'll deliver you what is called the number one best mattress pick of 2020 by GQ and Wired Magazine. So go to helixsleep.com/papa, P-A-P-A, take their little quiz, and they'll match you to a customized mattress that will give you the best sleep of your life. It's no joke. We took the quiz. My wife has completely different sleep requirements. I sleep on kind of a firm, and temperature is not really a problem for me. My wife, on the other side, she's got a lot of things. It has to be cool. It has to be hard, but not so hard. And even the Helix Sleep people were able to digest what my wife needs. They sent us a mattress, and we're both in the same bed, and we're having great experience, and we've been sleeping better than we have in years, other than the dog jumping on us and all that. But that's not the Helix problem. 10-year warranty. You get to try it out for 100 nights risk-free. And Helix is offering up to $200 off all mattress orders and 2 free pillows for our listeners at helixsleep.com/papa. Go to helixsleep.com/papa. After you're well rested and you're going about your day, I'm sure you have a lot of stress. I'm sure you have a lot of things that are on your mind. I'm sure you have a lot of problems that you want to work through. Maybe not big stuff. Maybe it is big stuff. Isn't it nice to know that there's someone out there that will listen to you and help you out? These are the people at BetterHelp. BetterHelp will assess your needs and match you with your own licensed professional therapist. You can connect in a safe and private online environment. It's very convenient and very helpful. You can start communicating in under 48 hours. It's not a crisis line. It's not self-help. It's a professional counseling done securely online. You can even send messages to your counselor anytime. Look, we've all got stuff. You might have depression, stress, anxiety. I know you have stress and anxiety. We all do. Relationship problems, maybe anger, sleeping, family conflicts. The list goes on because you're a human being, and we've all got stuff to work through. And sometimes you don't have somebody around that you can work it through with. That's where the good people at BetterHelp come in handy. I want you to start living a happier life today. So as a listener, you will get 10% off your first month by visiting betterhelp.com/papa. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/papa. You can join over 1 million people who have taken charge of their mental health. Really, no shame in that. You want to talk to somebody, you want to work through some problems. Just if you're feeling a little inkling, this is a good place to start. Just go to BetterHelp, HELP.com/papa, and feel it out. Try it out. It may change your life. It'll give you at least a good day. Thank you to the good people at BetterHelp. But it was cool. But just watching all your stuff throughout the years, and you're very smart, and you're fearless in your analysis of everything, and then on the way you're going to speak about the things that really mean something to you, they're not candy coated, and so you are going to get criticized from people who aren't aligned with you politically.
Sure.
And which is, there's a handful of guys that are fearless enough to do that, and screw it, if you don't like it, that's fine. It was a cool thing to see your special and also hear you talk about being married and your daughter, and because those things are very hopeful. And all the really smart people I know in my life who really look at the issues, it gets very scary because it is scary. And I always feel like being a little ignorant is probably helpful because you can just whistle your way through and have a good time without just being worried that the planet's on fire. So it was kind of nice to see you now still pressing the alarm, but also having this family and your daughter and that kind of thing, and your love of your dog and all that. It was a nice, you've matured into this balance of.
That's interesting. I haven't thought about it that way, but yeah, that's and that is in itself hopeful, and I can't afford anymore because I have a well, she'll probably be 5 by the time this comes out. Daughter who, I can't afford that kind of cynicism or solely just live in that cynicism. And I'm fully aware, and it's something I've thought about before. Like if I could cut in half or even 2/3 my consumption of news, I'd be a better person. I'd be a happier person. And I've always been kind of a news junkie, and it would be a very difficult thing to do, but maybe I need to spend a little less time in the minutia of how horrible people are and how corrupt this government is, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
And I'd just be a happier person, happier dad. I mean, I'm a good dad, and I love spending time with her, but it's something I've thought about,
Yeah.
But you're bringing up that just by doing material, which is, all the stuff with my kid is kind of anecdotal anyway.
Yeah.
It's all.
It's kind of cool to watch. Sorry to interrupt.
I more like I when I do sets, I do like an hour and 20, hour 30. So
yeah,
I cut bits out of that special that I'll just keep developing and doing stuff, about the family and things like that. And
it was cool to watch the balance, the way you chose it for the special, because I'm pretty heavy with family, especially in the set I'm doing now. And it was really kind of, you don't need that much to convey, I'm a dad, I'm in love with my wife. You don't have to hammer it all. I mean, if you want to analyze it, that's fine. But you had it, you wove it in nicely. It wasn't the thrust of your set, but it was weighty. I got to know you.
That's the thing when I'm putting a set together, and I'm sure you experience the same thing. But sequencing is probably, outside of developing the material and editing it, is the most important thing.
Yeah.
And it's especially with the last really 3 specials, it's about you know, the feeling of like, okay, this is too. I've really belabored this political part, and let's ease up on the let's lose that bit because that's too much about religion, and and let's add some more excuse me hopeful stuff about and maybe you don't think of it that consciously, but it really is about the feeling of, okay, let's dial back on the strident anger, and let's inject a little and I tried to do you know, I try to every special or every, you know, set have a good mix of just stupid, goofy things that have nothing to do with anything, like the stuff about the, you know, the impression of the midlife crisis, artisanal, you know, just whatever, the Gettysburg Address, shit like that has nothing to do with anything. It's just silly and stupid, and try to balance it out so it's not too much. It doesn't feel, and it's interesting though, because the two sets prior to this special, the "Oh Come On" and "Making America Great Again," I mean, I've added it up. It's like I don't talk about politics except for like 34% of the set, and then but it feels like that, and people go, "You're a political comedian." I'm not.
Right.
I am not a political comic. I am a comic who talks about politics, but I'm not. It just feels that way.
Right. But your other stuff is not political, but it's meaningful. I mean, you have the silly shit for sure, but you also
yeah. I mean, if I'm talking about, I guess, like gun control, that could come under the the, you know, umbrella political, but it's not. Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, but it's not. But it's you're just searching, which is such a cool thing to watch. It's like you're It's Carlin has that's what I always loved about Carlin, was he would be, you know, railing about something and then all of a sudden imitate a crab walking across the stage. And it was a cool balance. But man, the way you started the set on this special is so good. And there's also a real reason why people should be watching it right now. It's very current.
Let's go ahead and mention it.
Yeah.
It's called I'm From the Future, and it's available on my website, officialdavidcross.com.
Yeah, and I'll do a whole intro when you're not here to not embarrass you. It's very current. It's very current, and it's such a cool thing to watch, because I've heard a lot of comedians say, I don't know if I'm going to talk about COVID, if people are sick of it, or if people are going to do it. And the way that you talk about it, you're speaking about it in the results of what it's done to us and what it's exposed of us, is so good. And it's like, it's not like, you know, a belabored joke that everyone's doing on late night about whatever, about the pandemic. It's like you really use it to kind of pry open who we are and what's going on. Yeah. And it's really, people should watch it immediately. Really, because of that, because that is a...
Well, that's it, you know, it speaks to why the special exists the way it exists. Because I was, planning. I was in the middle of selling, you know, tickets, and had this tour planned. Yeah. And then I had to cancel it, and it was a really difficult and upsetting thing to do, but ultimately the right thing to do. And I was very heartened, and by I got so many comments of people, you know, in those places going like, you know, this is the right thing to do. I'm glad you did it. I wanted to come, but, you know, just various people saying, they were, and this is when Delta was, you know, starting to rise before Omicron, actually. And, or maybe as they were kind of
joining forces.
Yeah.
This is when you're going to go out with Sean, right?
Yeah.
Patton.
Yeah, I was going to go out with Sean Patton, and we had, I was going to do it in this cool way that I hadn't done before, which is, the idea was just to go out, because the last two tours I did, you know, the Making America Great Again tour was 111 shows, you know, in the States and Canada and Europe.
Wow.
And with the philosophy of like, hey, if I'm out there, might as well go out, you know, do it. Let's do it right. Yeah. And Oh Come On was like 80 shows, but
Oh, come on. That's such a great title.
And so this one was going to be because my kid's in school and I don't want to be, because she was with me the last she was in my wife's uterus and the first one, and then she was with us, and my wife who does lots and lots of different things, but is also a writer and author, and she had a book, both of those tours had a book come out just coincidentally so she would do book signings and appearance based on where I was.
Oh,
so
very
we were
cool.
traveling together, and then we had our daughter. We had a like a pack and play crib put into the tour bus, and
nice.
And it was great.
That's so great.
We were out on the road for almost half a year.
Wow.
It was pretty cool. And
perfect.
But now she's older. She's in school, and so getting back to what I was saying, so this is, I was going to be out on the road for like 2.5 weeks, and then home for a week and a half, and then just do that and go region by region. And I had to cancel the tour, and I just scrambled to put this. I had all this material that I knew by the time I get back out on tour, because I have this pending project that I'm going to be doing with Bob Odenkirk and his brother Bill, and who knows when I'm able to get out.
Right.
But I knew, like, a lot of this material I'm not going to do a year and a half from now. I'm not going to do certainly the COVID stuff and the stuff about my dog.
Right.
I'm not going to do that a year and a half from now. And, and who knows what'll replace some of that stuff.
Yeah.
And so I just really scrambled and just put this thing, got 3 shows at the Bell House in Brooklyn, and just
it's great.
Producers threw some cameras up, and
and
a friend of a friend of a friend edited it, and
Oh, nice. And I love the intro.
I love the little thing with John Benjamin.
It's so great. And was that your wife he's talking to?
No, that was a producer.
Okay. Yeah, I couldn't tell. It's such a funny opening. It looks really great. It really looks cool, and it looks like a special. But it also is, the Bell House isn't like this overblown huge place. We're sweeping in with showing all these people, and
that was a conscious thing. Like jib. Also, you're losing seats when you put a jib up. You're going to lose 50 seats.
And I saw, and Aziz just did one on. At the Comedy Cellar. He just had a couple cameras like sneaking in there, and it really, between the two of them, it was like, this is where we should be going. Like, you have something to say, let's get it out, let's have people see this, let's not go nuts, let's show this slice of comedy.
And also the turnaround, because I'm releasing it on my website, and I'm not beholden to like other places where I was before I had shot it, was shopping around like, well, we don't have a place until seriously, like, late spring 22, and I'm like, oh, that's not going to work. And I was like, fuck it, I'll just put it up on my website and get it out. The turnaround is so quick.
Yeah.
I mean,
because when
I shot
did you do
it in November, and it'll be out in February.
That's great.
That's really quick turnaround for a comedy special. Sometimes those sit because, again, you're like, Hulu is interested, but they can't put it out until summer of whatever.
Right.
You're like, oh, forget that.
No, it was perfect. It was so great. It was such a treat to watch it, because I don't think you can have a conversation about America being divided without also mentioning the lack of comedy that happened during these 2 years. Like, network television is like so frozen and careful that they're not putting out comedies. They're not putting out just like the Airplane level kind of movies of just like throw comedy out so we can all just laugh. And the lack of stand-up it really shrunk, especially live. And I think that that's really hurt us as a culture. I think it's left people just to lead with their politics and their thoughts on the vaccine rather than, hey, did you see this funny thing last night? Like, that was the thing that...
It's so trite and corny, but it's true. Like, the healing power of comedy and humor, and it can bring us together, as opposed to divide us, and show us a different way to view things that are emotional and disturbing and upsetting.
Yeah.
And there was very little of that.
Yeah. I did this show. I got this warehouse in the valley, and we put up a show summer of 2020 where we had literally 10 people scattered in this giant warehouse, and the Scholars did it, and Saget was there, and Greg Fitzsimmons, and I was kind of floored by how much I needed to hear comedians digesting what we were going through.
Yeah. Everybody, you could see the audience, the reaction to the stuff I'm talking about was, and part of this is, and I completely acknowledge this, and I did when I canceled the tours. I live in a bubble. I live in a progressive part of the country, in the culturally diverse area where, as I say, people, we followed the rules,
right.
And so we're able to open up sooner than other places, and there's it. I put that tour together, going, oh, this will be great. I'm having fun, and and that just wasn't the case. And people were like, I'm vaccinated and I wear a mask, but most people don't, and I don't want to go into a room with
right.
people who are, not here in Missouri. No, thank you. And you can see the catharsis, I guess, in the audience.
And yes, and they're also leaning in. They're they're really, you could see them thinking when you were in the middle of
that opening bit too is
oh my God, it is so brilliant. Holy shit.
That every time I did it, you really, it's how that's another thing where you have to intuit, do I do another sentence? Do I keep going, or do I end it here? Or do I do less? Or how? Because everybody's sitting there going, where the fuck is he going with this?
How is he going to get out of this?
Yeah.
That's what my wife said as soon as it was over. She was like, I had no idea how he was getting out of it.
Yeah. That was cool. That was a cool feeling. That's
cool.
My probably favorite opening I've ever done.
Oh my God, absolutely. Because there's no hello. It's just right into it. And you literally go probably 3 sentences longer than anyone else would. Oh my God, it's brilliant. It really.
We can't talk about stuff people haven't seen.
No, absolutely. They will. Just for that, you've got to go and check it out. It's funny. I did a show in San Francisco, and I was talking about the rules there as opposed to.
This is post.
This was a month ago.
A month ago, yeah.
And they were. I was mentioning something about Florida, and how they were going through the pandemic with their own set of rules, and everybody kind of cheered. And I said something about and because of that, there's a lot of people that are going to die, and people applauded.
You talk about a divided country.
I know, and I was like, I don't know why you're cheering that, but I also get it at the same time. And you went through this really eloquent bit about that and giving us permission to.
Yes, because those people are going to, through their selfishness, are going to potentially create orphans and widows because they refuse to wear a mask, or they refuse to. I mean, that's where it's that's why people would applaud.
Right. Right, exactly. I mean,
well, your audience applauded.
Yeah.
I don't know. My audience laughed. I don't know if they applauded.
Yeah. You had that one guy that went woo later on.
We cut out the standing ovation part.
Yeah.
People rioted.
You do a really good job of the swirling of the people who are saying no to the mask and pulling the way they pull in every possible fear and they say they're fearless.
Yeah. They say you're fearful. Yeah. The idea is that you're living in fear by wearing a mask.
Right.
When those people are truly the most fearful people. You know. I mean,
scared of everything. Yeah. Did you catch Bill Maher and the Barry Weiss on this last week?
I can't stand Barry Weiss. What did
you didn't miss it? It was a pretty big story. It was hashtag I'm done with COVID.
I saw that.
She's like, I'm just done. I'm just done. I'm done.
What a fucking ridiculous, ignorant, privileged bullshit thing. Okay, you're done. What does that mean?
What does that mean? And they had a congressman, I believe, from New York there, and he's like, I'm sorry, I can't really support this narrative. We had mass graves and people the hospitals were choked out, and it's happening again.
Yeah.
So I understand the frustration. You want it to be over, but
yes, sure, of course.
We're not alone.
Yeah.
We're not alone in this. And Bill and look, we all want it to be over. We all,
of course,
since from the beginning,
and except for Fox News, they're
right.
You know,
as they're getting vaccinated themselves.
Yeah. They're all vaccinated.
Yeah.
They're all such blatant, corrupt hypocrites. Blatantly lying. Just lying. It's amazing when you say, like, if you were to cut back on the news, like, you would be a happier person. Mm-hmm. And those people that create that news, they seem like pretty happy people, and you realize they don't take it seriously at all. No.
Like when Laura Ingraham talks,
they don't have to. They're rich. They're protected.
Right.
I mean, those people are extremely wealthy. Their kids are in private schools.
Right.
They have drivers and cars and private planes. They could do all that shit. They don't have to, they don't have to take the subway. They don't. I mean,
right.
These people are just such blatant hypocrites. And I mean, it's not new to this generation. It's been going on forever. But the people that they're talking to are just pawns. They're suckers.
You don't get it. I don't get that disconnect. They've been able to make it work for so long.
It's classic, pop psychology, emotive, button pushing 101. It's why, you have why elections turn on a not on the substantial or substantive issues, but this cultural thing about CRT, which is bullshit. That's how a guy can get elected governor of a large state by saying, I'm against critical race theory being taught in school. Well, it's not. It's not taught in across the country, nowhere. And you can say that until you're blue in the face, because it's the truth. They don't want to hear it. The narrative has been set. So that's how a guy gets elected,
Yeah, they just hang on to these things.
They know what they're doing. They absolutely know what they're doing.
Totally know what they're doing.
The whole thing about, remember the caravans? The migrant immigrant caravans were coming. And, and then as soon as the election was held, literally, they stopped talking about it. Because there was no thing. There was no fucking caravan of murdering rapists coming. It just,
Yeah, it's insanity.
Predictable, and it's depressing.
It is depressing. It seems like it's good.
And then you got guys like Rogan. Sorry to interrupt. Guys like Rogan, and people who reach millions of people with, just speculation. There's no scientific thought. They'll have on a anti-vax type person once in a while,
right?
But, and not just Rogan, but he's like the most obvious example.
Yeah.
And just talking garbage, and then enough people, and they're killing people. There are children who are orphans because somebody refused to get vaccinated.
Right.
And they refused because they were led to believe these completely unqualified statements,
right?
And because people think, the people saying them are like, well, I'm actually libertarian, or I'm iconoclastic, or whatever they think, and I don't, the the news is bullshit and it's corporate and they're
Right.
not, where are they getting their
Yeah.
material from? And
Well, that's what's disturbing is that there's no like source of like, oh, that's where I go for the real truth. Like if people are going in masses to comedians with podcasts, that shows we're lacking
yeah,
a stop along the freeway that's Truth Town.
yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
that shouldn't be. I almost feel like it's like then when the Daily Show became this really powerful place for the truth. It was like, what's this comedy center? We were doing premium blend and
Yeah, and Jon Stewart was like the quickest to say, like, guys, we're a comedy show. I mean,
right?
you know,
Yeah, but there's no Walter Cronkite kind of a news guy.
No.
That's just like, this is the news.
Yeah.
Like when you watch CNN and
Oh, fuck CNN.
and you see like Anderson Cooper, who's the guy who's like their Walter Cronkite on New Year's Eve with Andy Cohen, like how's this all add up?
Yeah. No, I know. It's and you know, look who is a major shareholder in CNN now. You know, right-wing guy who's said, I mean, I'm paraphrasing, but basically said, I want to be more like Fox News.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Who? I
Can't remember his name. It's fairly recent.
Really?
Yeah.
That owns a large share of CNN?
Yeah, majority share of CNN.
Oh my God. So now we're gonna have two. Now we're gonna have two Fox Newses.
Well, I mean, CNN was the idea. That was another very successful thing that Fox and the right wing did, was to position CNN as some liberal. They're not liberal at all.
Right.
I mean, they're not. They're just not crazy,
just not
batshit
Fox.
bullshit.
Right.
Fox and.
Right.
You know, it's also kind of like this idea that Bernie Sanders is some crazy lunatic socialist leftist guy. He's like, only in comparison, he's not.
Right.
If he was in any other country, he'd just be a regular guy on the left. That's all. The idea of universal health care or a child tax credit isn't, you know, it's crazy.
He's a kook.
Yeah.
He's out of his mind.
And they've been very successful at that, you know?
Yeah. No, I know.
And also the DNC did the same thing with Sanders and that, because they're all centrists and, you know.
Yeah, they tore them apart. When I remember watching when Trump was running, and you'd go to CNN, and they would just have an empty podium with a running clock of when Trump was going to speak. I was like, who? What?
That's right.
Remember that?
Yes, I do.
My God.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it was insane. So what do you think? What do you think is going to allow you to tell the future? Do you think Trump is our president again?
I mean, I don't, but I was wrong before,
right?
And I had up till then I had a fairly good track record of predicting that stuff.
Yeah.
But I don't know. All bets are off, and they've got so many things in place that most people aren't really aware of, and so much that I'm not aware of, and they've been very smart about thinking micro instead of macro, and getting people on school boards and getting people in state government that kind of flies under the radar.
Yeah.
That you know, who knows?
Yeah. Once things, it's like they're playing for the post-election already.
They are. That's all. That's
they're
all
putting all the people in the right positions who will agree when they say,
to do the thing that people wouldn't do in 2020.
Yeah.
You know, because it's highly illegal and it's treasonous.
Right.
But you know, the tenor has just the Democrats have been pretty ineffective. We'll see what happens with the January 6th House Intelligence Committee, and we'll find out. I don't know.
Isn't it crazy when Dick Cheney is walking through Congress as the lovable, sane guy?
I mean, that guy's pure evil too.
See, like, and then he's like,
I know they turned on Karl Rove.
Right.
They turned on Karl Rove.
Karl Rove.
Wow.
Yeah, they really shot out. Well, you do an amazing job on the special, and but we just have to mention your dog a little bit, and you dedicated the special to this lovable guy. And as I was watching it, I had my pug curled up under my arm and just snoring away. Is your family or your daughter, more specifically, does she long for any other type of pets? Is it all dogs? Is it cats? Is it lizards?
It's dogs.
It's dogs.
I'm obviously going to go ahead and we're giving some stuff away here, but
I was being careful not to.
I guess it's okay, isn't it?
Yeah, it's okay.
Neither my wife nor I were ready or expecting it to have the impact on her that it did.
Yeah.
And it was really upsetting.
Yeah.
And there's some stuff I cut from that bit, which is the, what happens and the next 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And it's it's just tough.
Yeah.
And,
so heavy.
But I mean, Ollie was in such bad shape that I think my wife and I were both like, I mean, it really was like, I mean, it was quite a while of, like taking care of something that needed constant attention. And I think, and
those are the roughest.
And it was like, okay, we're going to take a little break from this. And, and I think I know, but, my wife would probably rather have a cat.
Yeah.
and I want a puppy. And also, here's the thing. I have a house upstate in the woods.
Oh,
and
nice.
I had before I even met my wife. And I got it in a large part because of my dog. And it's almost irresponsible to have a house with we're in the woods and we have, acres and acres and there's no roads or anything near us for a while. And it's irresponsible not to have a dog.
Right. Yeah. Oh, absolutely. You have to. You have to.
But we were talking about like, okay, when the winter's over, because you have to make those sometimes often because you don't know what's going on. You have to get up at 4 a.m. and walk the dog in a snowstorm. And
puppy time is hard. It's so hard.
The great, like 2 to 8 or 9 are just the best. But yeah, puppy is
puppy
hard,
to 2.
And and then tearing things up and and then of course when they get older and it gets a little rougher. But
oh God, we have these bamboo floors and they're just kind of slippery, and we have 2 dogs, and every time they get excited and run and their legs are like going out like that, we're just like, oh, the hips. We're just thinking in 8 years we're screwed.
The sound of their nails.
Yeah.
As they're scrambling, they don't understand the physics of why they're slipping around.
I know, and we just know their hips are going to be shot. We're going to be wheeling them out to the backyard eventually. It's so rough. Well, congratulations. The special is really amazing.
Well, thank you very much.
Yeah, really, it was so fun to watch, and I hope we can spread the word somewhat and get people people to watch.
We got into the weeds and some serious shit. Wasn't that?
Yeah.
This was not one of the lighter, funnier episodes, but yeah.
But that's okay. It's meaningful stuff, and that's the cool thing about you. You kind of like have all that stuff, and it's all wrapped in funny at the same time. But thank you, and good luck with the bread.
And thank you
let me know.
For the bread.
Let me know what happens to it.
Well, I'm going to be. I have another thing here, and then I'm going to tape the Late Show.
Oh, nice.
And then I'm going to go to Highland Park. to meet some friends for
cool.
dinner.
Maybe they'll eat it with you.
Maybe the restaurant has a policy where you're allowed to bring home baked bread in.
Bring
Don't
your
worry
own bread.
BYOB.
Awesome. Well, thanks.
Oh, my pleasure, Tom. Thank you. Good
we'll
to
see you again.
As always. All right.
All right, everybody. That's our show. I told you it was a good one. David Cross, very smart, very funny. Again, go on February 12th to officialdavidcross.com and get his new special, I'm from the Future. Very talented comedian. I'm so glad we got to sit down with him and spend some time. A big thank you to the people at BetterHelp. A big thank you to the people at Helix. And a big thank you to you. Thank you for listening. Thank you for spreading the word. It's so nice when I'm out on tour and everybody's coming up and saying they enjoy the podcast and enjoy listening. And it's nice to know that we're growing and reaching more people all the time. This is Super Bowl week, so make some good stuff. And maybe some giant nachos, some giant tray nachos, maybe some wings, maybe some burgers. Just eat your faces off. This is the week. This is the week you get to act like you weren't going to improve your dietary life, which is what you thought on New Year's Eve, and then you kind of did it, and then this is like, well, screw it, it's Super Bowl. After this, you can dial it in and start eating healthy, but this is your day. This is your week. Enjoy. I'll see you next week.